So next is the reaction of non-metals, chemical properties of non-metals. So in that we can see here, when the reaction of non-metal with oxygen, it can form two kind of oxide, acidic oxide and neutral oxide. And hopefully you remember that when the metals are undergoing with the reaction of oxygen, they can form basic oxide. Fine. So acidic and neutral are formed by the reaction of non-metal with oxygen. So let's proceed further with the acidic oxide, how they are formed. So acidic oxide are they? So how we can come to know that they are acidic? Because they can turn blue litmus paper into red. Fine. So let's see first of all, reaction of carbon plus oxygen is forming carbon dioxide, and when we dissolving this carbon dioxide in water, otherwise we can test this gas with the lime paper, then we can litmus paper, will getting the color change which indicate that particular oxide is formed is acidic in nature. Another is carbon dioxide plus water. So I have told you, when carbon dioxide is formed, it is undergoing with the reaction of water. Then it will be forming carbonic acid, H2CO3, which is acidic in nature. Although it is weak acid, but the nature of this particular product is acidic. That's why this is acidic in nature, and the oxides are formed by the non-metal. Carbon is a non-metal here, and reacting with oxygen it is producing acidic oxide. Fine. Another example is the case of sulfur. Fine. So I have told you carbon. Carbon क्या है? एक non-metal है. Carbon is what? A non-metal. When non-metal undergoing with the reaction of oxygen from air, it can produce CO2, carbon dioxide. And when we are going to dissolve this CO2 with water, that's why we'll coming to know that after testing the litmus paper, solution बनाएंगे, उसको test करेंगे with litmus paper. So it can form H2CO3, carbonic acid, and it can turn blue litmus into red. Acidic in nature. Again is the case of sulfur. Sulfur is again a non-metal. It is undergoing with the reaction of O2, it is producing SO2. And this is the case when I told you guys, exhaust of the vehicle is producing sulfur dioxide. Sulfur produce करते हैं, oxygen से react करके sulfur dioxide produce करते हैं, and this sulfur dioxide is mixing with water. When in upper atmosphere with moisture, this SO2 is react, it can also produce sulfuric acid and can turn into the acidic rain. So here it can going to produce H2SO4. By balancing and all, we are getting an acidic oxide. So this is indicating that the particular oxides of the non-metal are acidic in nature. By testing them with the litmus paper, they are turning blue litmus into red. Red is what? Acidic. Fine. So that's why this is very, very important to understand the particular acid oxide are which one, which are reacting with non-metal are producing acidic oxide. Non-metal plus acid, so non-metal plus oxygen. So next is neutral oxides. So neutral oxides are the oxide when particular non-metal is reacting with oxygen and producing neutral oxide. Neutral oxide means neutral is what? Not acidic, not basic. So they are not showing any effect on litmus paper. Fine. So let's see the examples. For example, carbon plus oxygen, and it is producing carbon monoxide. When this is nothing but in the case of production of carbon plus oxygen, CO2, directly we can go with the CO2. So this is the acidic oxide. Now again, reaction of carbon plus oxygen is here. Oxygen is always in the molecular form, but here we are also doing one thing. When we are producing carbon monoxide, we need to balance this particular equation by putting two coefficient here. So you have done balancing in first chapter very well. So you can understand how we need to balance. Carbon is undergoing the reaction with oxygen. Oxygen is always in molecular form here. Carbon single hai, but we know that sometime carbon when reacting with oxygen, it can also produce carbon monoxide. And this is which kind of oxide? Neutral. As per that, we need to balance the carbon here, right? Another important thing is hydrogen plus oxygen, and how it can be formed the oxide when hydrogen is undergoing the reaction with water in electric spark. We are producing this particular water. Water क्या है? Water is, hydrogen is a non-metal, oxygen is a non-metal, but oxygen and water are the reaction, they are giving the reaction producing water. फाइन, हाइड्रोजन नॉन मेटल है, नॉन मेटल का रिएक्शन हम किससे देख रहे हैं? ऑक्सीजन के साथ देख रहे हैं. तो हाइड्रोजन व्हेन रिएक्ट विद O2 in electric spark, it is produce water, and water is neutral in nature. We all are aware about this thing. So that's why this is the neutral oxide. Another is nitrogen. Nitrogen is a non-metal here, and it is undergoing the reaction with oxygen. At the temperature conditions are very important here. 27 to 3000 degrees Celsius will be the temperature condition here. And on these conditions we are getting nitric oxide 2NO, which is again a neutral oxide.